Well, if Timo Werner to Chelsea wasn't enough to get you guys excited last week, James Olley back in the house with some more juicy rumors we're hearing, James. And I'm hearing Kai Havertz to Chelsea. It seems like Roman Abramovich and Frank Lampard are getting ready for a shopping spree. But where did this come from, and what's the likelihood of this actually happening?
Well, I think what we're seeing in terms of Chelsea's attacking options in this transfer window is that it's all being reframed around the idea that they're not going to get Jadon Sancho. The feeling at Stamford Bridge is that if he goes anywhere this summer, Sancho will go to Manchester United. And consequently, they're thinking about the kind of money that they'd earmarked for Sancho going somewhere else. So if you think of it, 120 million, that's kind of the fee that's being talked about for Sancho. Well, for that price, you could potentially get Werner and Havertz, which would completely remodel their attacking lineup and really inject some fresh energy and dynamism into their options for next season. I think the Havertz deal is a lot more complicated to pull off than the Werner one, simply because obviously there was a release clause with Werner. It was long mooted that he was going to go to Liverpool. Liverpool never came in and matched that release clause figure. So Chelsea hit the target and have negotiated personal terms, and I think it's all good to go. Just the final bits of paperwork to be done on that. So they're now looking at other options, and it's not just in an attacking area that they're concentrating on. They are looking at Ben Chilwell. They are looking at one or two midfield options, but they do want to reframe their attack. And Havertz is a very exciting player. Obviously, he's 20 years of age. He's very versatile. He can play as a number 10. He can play through the middle. He will add some real unpredictability to Frank Lampard's team, which is something that I know that frustrated him at home, particularly this season, where they were just finding themselves against teams that were defending deep and just playing the ball left to right, right to left, and not really showing enough ingenuity. And I think that's been a key sort of driver for their transfer window activity in an attacking sense, of really trying to inject some fresh options and really just some unpredictability to the way that they play. Havertz would be a great signing for that. He's obviously, there's talk about 75 million pounds would be needed to get the job done. It's more complicated than that because there's some top sides in for him. United have been monitoring the situation. There's Bayern Munich, there's Real Madrid who are lurking as well. So this one's a long way from completion, but he's certainly somebody that they're looking at.
And then with this, like you said, it makes sense. It looks like it makes sense financially, of course, and you get these two brilliant players. Who at Chelsea do you expect to be on their way out then to try and make space and probably free up some funds for this?
Well, I mean, we know that Pedro and Willian are out of contract this summer. So in terms of the wide options, those two will leave. Pedro, I think, is talking to Roma. I think that's quite a long way down the line. Willian, of course, we don't know exactly where he's going to go yet. There's talk about Arsenal, maybe Tottenham. One or two overseas clubs are looking at him as well. The interesting one for me in this is Christian Pulisic, because, of course, he joined last summer. The deal was done in January, but he joined last summer in a £58 million deal. With Hudson-Odoi coming back in, if they do get Havertz, you're starting to wonder where Pulisic will fit into the team, because Hudson-Odoi, extremely highly rated. Ziyech could play inside in a more central midfield position, but you kind of think they bought him to play him on the right. So if you've got Ziyech, if you've got Havertz, if you've got Hudson-Odoi, and you've got Werner and or Abraham, and bearing in mind that Werner can play out on the left as well, suddenly you're looking at Pulisic and thinking, well, he's got a real fight on here.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.